So you can see we're here at Aero Friedrichshafen, and we've just interrupted our coverage of the show to bring you the news that Old Sarum Airfield has won its appeal, so it can go ahead with its planning permission to build some houses on the airfield and also a new flying hub. Crucially, it means the airfield will stay operational, and there are some benefits such as the Hangar 3, which is currently dilapidated. That Grade 2 listed Hangar 3 is going to be rebuilt as part of the planning process. Now, not everybody agrees with it, and we've covered that in a news story, but earlier this year we went down to Old Sarum on a very different weather day, as you'll see, and we had a chat with Granville Hodge, the director of the airfield, about the plans and what's going on. Let's look back at that video. We're at Old Sarum Airfield. There was once a bustling hub for general aviation, a leading place for pilots to come and train, big microlight club, and a fantastic place, a really good atmosphere for visiting pilots. But in 2019, flying operations largely ceased, and the place has been falling into disrepair. But otherwise it's been turned into a skydive centre. But it could be so much more. What we aim to uncover with this video is whether Old Sarum has a future as a general aviation airfield for all pilots, or whether it's destined to remain just for skydiving. We'll be speaking with Granville Hodge, a director of the airfield, about the controversial plan to redevelop parts of this historical site for housing. Before we dive into Old Sarum's future, let's take a moment to explore its rich history. Established in 1917 as a training base for the Royal Flying Corps pilots, Old Sarum boasts 3 Grade 2 listed hangars and a workshop, structures built during World War I by German prisoners of war. During World War II, it became a permanent base, with additional buildings constructed, many of which still stand today and are used for light industry. The airfield remained under RAF control until 1982, when it was sold to Edgeley Aviation on a 999-year lease. Edgeley developed the Optica observation aircraft here, while the Wilts Aerospace Club, later Old Sarum Flying Club, took flight. Fast forward to today, and Matthew Hudson, alongside Granville Hodge, have taken over the lease, and they're spearheading a redevelopment plan for the airfield. Okay, so I'm here with Granville Hodge, a director of Old Sarum Airfield. Granville's had a long involvement with the airfield, more than 40 years, you were saying.
Yep, just about almost exactly 40 years now.
So, first, before we get into talking about the new developments, why did anything have to happen to Old Sarum? Because I remember this airfield back in the early 2000s and right through to mid-2015, 16. I remember coming here, it was busy, there was lots going on, it was a fantastic airfield. Why did it need to change?
In 2007, Salisbury District Council, with an authority at the time, planning authority at the time, came to us and asked if we'd reduce flying. We were doing about 65,000 movements a year at that time, and it was causing nuisance to local residents. And so clearly, if we reduce flying, that's where the income comes from. And so we said, well, if we do reduce flying, we'll need a package really, which would allow us to do it. And so over a period of about 2 years, we came up with a policy which the then Wiltshire Council had taken over, included in their local plan, which was a plan for the airfield, which allowed us to develop some peripheral parts of the airfield to raise some income, to reinvest in the airfield, to be able to run it at a lower volume of traffic. And essentially we came to a conclusion, if we had about 35,000 movements a year, that satisfied the noise requirements. It didn't disturb the neighbours. And so we cut back to about 35,000 movements a year. And so in 2015, 16, that's what we would have been doing. But Wiltshire Council then just stopped us implementing the planning policy.
Right.
And it's been a struggle since to try to make it work.
Yeah. The latest one, can you just outline what you want to do before we go any further?
Yeah, and it is not significantly different to what we originally proposed, because the concept was all agreed really back in 2007. We understand it's a very historic site, and unfortunately it's on the end of in the end of the runway there's an ancient monument, so we knew we had to be very careful with heritage. But we then had to balance the viability of running the airfield at a lower volume and against developing some housing around the airfield. And so the concept is still the same. There's two areas where we would place houses on the periphery of the airfield, which don't affect the operation of the airfield at all. And so we put that planning application forward, and it also included very substantial reinvestment in the airfield and improvement of the heritage assets. And so we put it forward. It was refused by Wiltshire, ultimately refused by Wiltshire County Council, and then it went to appeal. Unfortunately, we lost the appeal on heritage grounds. We then changed the operation of the airfield because the way we were running it, it was losing money. And so we changed the operation of the airfield, and essentially the intention was to give licenses to various people to operate the airfield. And the license we introduced back in 2019 was with the then operating parachute operation. And that all got up and running, then the COVID hit. And so, of course, all the other things we wanted to do were put on hold. And so the intention was to license flying clubs. We had another number of flying clubs that would have come and operated on a licensed basis. And then during that time, Historic England wanted to talk to us really about the heritage of the airfield and the condition of the hangar that we've got here. And so we engaged in conversation with Historic England, and with long discussions, we ended up with a proposal for the airfield that Historic England would support. And so essentially it completely took away the reason for refusal that was given at the last appeal.
Yeah. So it's all gone on a bit stage further from there, and you had an application in that last August was turned down again by Wiltshire County Council.
That's absolutely right. So we then put together a very careful application. In principle, it was the same. So one of the housing allocations, which the appeal inspector liked, we kept. The other housing allocation, which the appeal inspector didn't like, we changed in long consultation with Historic England. So Historic England were comfortable with it. And they're the experts on heritage. And also, we committed, and we all had already committed, we committed to rebuild the Hangar 3, which is in very poor condition. And we've always recognised the importance of the heritage here. We always wanted to actually focus on heritage. And one of the things we always wanted to do after refurbishing Hangar 3 was to make sure that we filled it with historic aircraft. And that's the plan we put forward to the council again. Unfortunately, for some reason, they decided to refuse it again. Yeah. So we're now going through an appeal process, which starts next month.
Yes, I've just learnt this morning that it's going to start on the 20th of February.
20th of February. This time we're confident we're not harming the heritage, because we've got Historic England very positively behind us. And so all the other issues are really pretty irrelevant. And so we believe this time we will win the planning application, planning appeal. I mean, if we don't, then we will have to go back to Plan B again, which is what we were going to do in 2019, and have licensed operators at the airfield who will operate day and night. And in the meantime, Wiltshire Council have allowed something like 4,000 houses to be built around the airfield within our air traffic control zone. So all those people will suffer aviation noise.
Right. So if that is what happens, will Hangar 3 be rebuilt?
No, we can't see it. I mean, the Hangar 3, we know now, because we've had a very full costing, will cost £3.3 million to rebuild. But really the intention is to build really nice facilities here.
Yeah.
So it becomes a destination airport for people who want to come and visit, have a cup of tea, have a lunch, have a nice time, and then move on to their next airfield.
Yeah. What motivates you now to keep going?
Both of us want to see it through, I guess. We kept the airfield open for 40 years. Back in 2007, it looked like it had a really viable future. And we recognised that if we carried on doing what we were doing, then at some time there would come a crunch when we really would have dispute with neighbours. Because if we carried on increasing flying, it would be untenable. And so we took a reasonable step and came to an agreement with the local authority.
So either way, it sounds as though general flying for everybody, not just a few people here, the skydive company and so on, sounds like the flying will open up one way or the other.
It'll be different, yeah. One way or the other, it will open up. If we can't do what we would like to do, it will be on a volume business. So what we would look at was flying training, and we're a great place for flying training.
Oh, it is. I've flown here many times in the past myself. I think it's a wonderful place.
And so, and also what you don't know to flying training is lots of facilities at the airfield.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of areas around here where the flying, classrooms and various facilities could be catered for a flying training operation. What they need is a nice airfield and be able to operate day and night.
Yeah. Thank you to Granville Hodge for talking to us. The future of Old Sarum Airfield will come up before a planning inspector at appeal later this month. Whichever way it goes, it looks as though flying could resume at this wonderful airfield in the near future. Let's hope so.